I'm a qualified life coach, but I specialise in career coaching. But I've also got a 20-year career in PR and comms. So what I do is bring real world experience and understanding to the coaching work that I do with the people I work with. And so, I've walked in those shoes of senior leaders in comms and PR. I understand the challenges and the frustrations and the issues that can arise. And so I combine that understanding with the coaching tools and techniques and methodologies that I use to help people maximize their potential and overcome any kind of issues or barriers that are standing in the way. There are 4 areas generally that clients come to me for help with. The first is around actually retaining high potential employees. So, if you've got a senior leader that's been with you typically, 4 or 5 years upwards, they might well be starting to think about what next. A lot of people sort of feel like they might hit a ceiling, and obviously organisations want to retain that talent and keep them motivated. And so that's one reason they come to me. The second is if a particular individual is struggling with a particular challenge or issue. So for example, recently I've worked with people to help them overcome confidence issues and build their profile. I've done stuff with people around strategic decision making. So I've been working with one senior leader who's been given a massive turnaround job within a particular agency. Dealing with stress and anxiety, it's an everyday occurrence for most people. It's a tough job. So I bring tools and techniques and practical applications that people can put to use to actually, feel better and cope with the ins and outs of the day. And the other thing, actually, a lot of the work that I do is around managing difficult stakeholders, whether that's internally or externally or up or down the chain, helping people actually build stronger relationships with individuals that they perhaps don't work with very naturally. So the third thing that companies come to me for help with is actually helping with team dynamics. So, if you've got a team, whether it's a communications team or an agency team, that actually are not working together to the best of their ability, I run a lot of workshops and training and coaching with team members to actually help them understand each other better and effectively work together and become more productive. So everybody does a lot more of what they actually do well. Then the fourth area is around if an organisation is dealing with a situation with reduction in force or redundancy, I will work with them and provide either one-on-one coaching, or I've got an online course offer that actually helps the individual that's going through that process actually deal with the negative emotions they might be feeling and also think about the future, outside of that organisation potentially. Well, it's probably easiest to give you a couple of examples. So recently, about a year ago, I worked with a director at a PR agency who was sort of thinking about their future and what, that inevitable question, what next? Now, obviously, the agency wanted to retain them because they were a high-performing individual. So I did some work with that person to actually first identify his actual natural strengths, the things he was really good at, and then take a look at the interest areas that he had. What was he passionate about? What actually genuinely motivated him? And we put those things together to start to help him understand where he might be able to create a particular specialism. So once he got clear on actually really what he wanted to do and how that might benefit the organisation, we put an action plan together. He took those steps, and in fact, a year later, he's still with the agency, and in fact, he's been promoted, so he's now senior director. Another example, I've worked recently with a manager at an events company who had real confidence issues, so it was actually really hampering her potential because she had an awful lot to give, but she was kind of suffering from imposter syndrome like a lot of people do. So I did some work with her to kind of help her understand her natural talents, the things that she brought to the table so that she really see it, but also importantly do some work to actually help her uncover the limiting beliefs that she had around feeling confident so that we could actually help her dissolve those. So I gave her practical tools and techniques to deploy that meant that she dissolved those issues and that thinking over time. And now the company has reported, that she's a different person. So she turns up to work in a completely different way, much more confident, not afraid to put herself forward. Same with the senior clients that she was dealing with, where she had been quite sort of unsure of herself. She's now really sure. And she's now one of the best performing team members that the company has. All people need to do is follow the link and contact the training team at the PRCA and they will introduce us, and from that point I will do a call with the organisation to actually talk about the person that they're thinking about having coaching for, to get a bit of background, understand what it is they want coaching to achieve with that particular individual. I will then, if they're happy to, actually have a call with the individual themselves, and that's really important because you've got to have a chemistry, and I've got to believe I can help them, and they've got to believe that I can help them too. So we do that call. If we're both happy, I'll then put together a scope of work that outlines the program that we're going to cover, and then we get a contract. We sign a contract. It's got all the T's and C's around confidentiality and IP protection and all of that good stuff, and then we get cracking.